What if the church is measuring success all wrong? Because despite efforts over the past 2,000 years, there are still over 3 billion people in the world who will, in all probability, be born, live, and die, never having the opportunity to hear the story and the message of Jesus. So what if the metrics that we are using in the Western church to measure success are the wrong objectives? What if the traditional ways that we are going about in church, trying to make our church successful, is taking us down the wrong path? And then what would it look like if we had a different objective and we're using different metrics in the church to measure success? That's what we want to talk about today. So presently, just think about this with your church. How does your church measure success? Is it by the Sunday attendance numbers? Is it by the buildings and the new buildings that you're building? Your campus size? Is it by your budget? How big your budget is? How much cash? How much money you're bringing in? Do you measure? Does your church measure success by the programs that you have within your church? Does your church measure success by the celebrity status of your pastor or church leaders, by the number of places they're asked to go speak and conferences they speak at and books they've written and videos they put together and how many times people watch their videos on YouTube and so forth? What about the amenities when you get into your building and high tech and the great show and the lighting and all that's in the auditorium? How does your church and how do you as a person measure success? Because the way we measure success is going to get us to a specific vision or a specific objective, right? And so really it comes down to, I think, what is the definition of a successful church? So let me just throw this out to you. What is your purpose for being on this earth? And what is the purpose of the church for being on this earth? Because I think they're the same. I would say the purpose for your life, the purpose for your church is found in Revelation 7, 9 through 10, where it says there will be someone from every ethnic group of people in the world around the throne in heaven worshiping God forever and ever. And how does that happen? Well, God tells us in Malachi 1:11, he says, my name will be worshiped from the rising to the setting of the sun. In other words, amongst all ethnic groups of people in the world. And how does that happen? Well, God tells us in Matthew 28, 18 through 20, he says, by there being disciples of Jesus made amongst every ethnic group of people in the world. And how does that happen? Again, that's found in Matthew 28, 18 through 20. He says, it is by my people going to all those people. And when God's people go, how does this happen? They go with a message which is found in 2 Corinthians 5, 17 through 20. They go with the message that telling the world that God is reconciling the world to himself through Jesus Christ. And where are these followers, disciples of Jesus that are supposed to start going out and telling this message and making disciples of Jesus? Well, I think that tells us in Acts 1:8, it says you start where you are, making disciples of Jesus that then turn around and make more disciples, and you keep expanding out, working in bigger circles and reaching the entire world. And so from my perspective, what we call the Great Commission, which is found in Matthew 28, 18 through 20, is not just 3 verses out of the Bible, but it is a short synopsis of God's heart from Genesis to Revelation. And so for me, that is the purpose of your life on this earth, and that is the purpose of the church on this earth. And so what if that was our vision? Our vision is that there will be people from every group of people in the world around the throne in heaven worshiping God forever and ever because we as disciples of Jesus and we as the church are out actively, intentionally working to make disciples of Jesus amongst all groups of people in the world. Now, what if that was your church's mission statement? What if that was the vision that you had for your church? How then would you measure church success? Because I think if we're honest, the way we in our churches and the way we as individual Christians and church members measure success of our church, at the end of the day, it comes down to Sunday attendance numbers. And that's what everything we do within our church is focused to gain, Sunday attendance numbers. What if we change that and we measure church success by the lifetime sent out numbers? In other words, over the life of the church, how many people has that church sent out from that church to the 3 billion people that do not have access to the gospel and will in all probability be born, live, and die, never having opportunity to hear the message and the story of Jesus? If your lifetime sent out numbers to these unreached people become your measure of success in your church, that will change a lot of stuff that we do within our church and how we organize our church and our meetings and everything else. And so it starts with a vision, a strong, compelling vision for your church and a strong, compelling vision for you as an individual disciple of Jesus. Just think about that. Instead of seeing church attendance numbers in the bulletins or on a screen, or you just know them because you talk about them in your budget, or your church-wide meetings, or however you disseminate this information within your church, what if that was never discussed? What if the only thing discussed was, these are the number of people that were part of our congregation, our community, our church here, that we have personally sent out and supported to go to these 3 billion people over the life of our church? That would change the way we operated within church. So I'm going to give you a practical action step or challenge for you, is just go look at your church. I'm going to do 2 things. One, look at your church. Look at what is emphasized, what is talked about, what is measured, what is held up as being a healthy church. And then look at all of that and say, based on this, what is my church's measure of success? How does my church define success for itself based on this? So one is do this with your church. The second step is to look into your own life. Look at how you invest your time and look at how you handle the money that you are managing for God. And then thirdly, I know we've heard that before, look at your time, look at your money. I want to ask you, thirdly, look at where you spend or where you invest most of your thinking power. What are the thoughts that you are focused on? And based on your thoughts and your money and your time investment, how do you judge success for yourself in life? Hey, if you like this, if you thought this was beneficial, valuable, maybe hopefully thought-provoking at least, even I always say, you don't have to agree with me. I'm not expecting that. I just hope it's challenged you to maybe look at things from a different perspective, check it out and say, does this guy have any validity in what he's saying, or is he totally off his rocker? If you like this, how about liking it? How about even sharing it with somebody if you think they might like it? Even subscribing if you want to do that. If you really found something specific beneficial, make a comment down there. If you think I'm totally off my rocker and crazy, call me out, blast me in the comments. I like that also because both types of comments help me make better videos with more valuable content for people in the future.